All right, here we are, screen recording. Now I've already got this downloaded, so it's not going to be as valuable. I'm not going to go through the whole installation process. But if we go to chrome.google.com/web store, this is where we're going to find all of our Chrome extensions. So if somebody recommends a Chrome extension to you, this is where you go. Chrome.google.com/web store. This will work on Chrome, Windows, Mac, Linux, whatever you're using. If you're using Chrome, if you're on a Chromebook, if you're on a Chromebook, you probably just have a button you click. But this is where you go, and you can search in the store for Loom. You'll see it pops up here. I've already got it downloaded, but click on this, and instead of remove from Chrome, what you'll see is add to Chrome. And go on there. It'll have you create a little account, but what you can do is create screen recordings. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit stop on this so I can show you guys what that looks like in Chrome. So for people watching this recording, I'm going to stop now, and we'll pick up later. And we're live with Gmail templates. So we go up to our gear icon up here by our face or whatever you have set up here. And this should be the same whether you're using your personal Gmail account or using a kw.com account. The kw.com manages their email accounts through Google Mail. So it's not going to be in your quick settings, although I think this should be activated by default. But see all settings is going to be where you go. And then you're gonna go over here to the right where it says advanced. Don't be scared off by that. There are a couple of things I would turn on here. Templates and so templates is going to be the second thing you see, and custom keyboard shortcuts. Keyboard shortcuts can screw you up if you don't know what the shortcuts are, if you accidentally hit those shortcuts while you're in there. So before you turn this on, kind of print out a cheat sheet for yourself and learn what the shortcuts are. But I would recommend this. It's been helpful for me just in sending, and there's a quick shortcut for reply or reply all. That's an important thing to know in real estate, whether you want to reply directly to the sender or you want to reply to everyone in the group that's on the email. But templates is what we're going to be focusing on. If it's not enabled, enable it. And always remember, if you change a setting, to go down here and click Save Changes. So once we've saved those changes, we can go back to our inbox. And what we're going to do is take a look at what these templates are in real life. So I like to use opening escrow as an example here. I've already got this saved. I will also walk you through creating one from scratch. But just to show you, please open escrow. I've got my whole script here. You don't have to go copy and paste this from a document anywhere. You just click on these three dots. I honestly don't even know what this is, Doc Hub. I don't even use that anymore. I should probably get rid of it. But these three dots here, templates, you can change this to anything you want. And you noticed it filled in the subject line as well. So I can change this to please open escrow for 123 Main Street. I like to put that in the thing. It just helps escrow officers keep track of all their many, many emails that come in. And then you can put all your, Suzanne Jones at North Meridian Title Group, new orders at North Meridian Title Group. I mean, I tend to kind of do a shotgun approach to everyone when I'm doing escrow. And then I also will put the buyers in there. If there's when I type in buy, look who pops up. Hey, it's Ashley. That's your old one. I know. I'll delete it. Anyways, this is an example of a template that I have saved in here. So easy. If I see an active contract a contract come back mutual, I know that's like the first thing. If I'm representing the buyer, that's the first thing I want to do. Even as a listing agent, oftentimes I will kind of reach out to everybody and just say, hey, I want to make sure you had this mutual contract. The buyer's agent should be reaching out to you to open escrow soon. Mm-hmm. Because I've found that sometimes with newer buyer's agents, they don't always do that. They haven't been told that they need to open escrow, which is interesting. Anyways, this is templates. Now, if we wanted to create one from scratch, let's say we had an email we were always sending out to our buyers. Let's say market update for, and we can just leave that blank. We can say market update for, so that basically prompts us to put something in there. You can put your client's name or a neighborhood that they're looking at, but and say hello, and then you can put a placeholder in here if you want to. Name. Here's the market update for, and then you could put another placeholder in here, place. Please let me know if you'd like to go see one of these. And then you could have a link to your saved search. If you don't already have one going on, this is one that you want to handle with kid gloves, and you find yourself with quite a few clients that you just want to customize what they're seeing. This could also just be a general market update for people. But if you wanted to save something like this, say you got this put together, and let's put another placeholder in here, link, right? You copy and paste that link in there and replace that italicized word. If you want to save this as a template, go into templates. I have quite a few, so you have to scroll down to the bottom. At the beginning, it'll be right here, front and center. But save draft as template. Now you can overwrite a template, and this is a nice feature. If you've got a template in here that's feeling a little stale, the last several times you've used it, you've had to rewrite the whole thing anyway, you can overwrite your template. In fact, I would recommend doing that. And we're back with part 2 of templates for Gmail. So we've got this here. If we want to overwrite a template, we can do it while we're doing it. One thing I forgot to mention is you'll want to get rid of your signature. We will also go over email signatures here in a moment because there are some things I want to address, but get rid of this, leave a space at the bottom. That way, when you go to use this, it doesn't double up on your email signature. That's an important thing to remember. So when you're saving these templates, always get rid of that email signature. You're over here saving a draft as a template. You can overwrite one that you have existing, or you can save as a new template. And you can save it as market update for, and then every time you go to do one of these, just select it from your templates. So right now, and I am petitioning them to give us more options for this, but the order in which these templates are in here will be the order in which you created them. So the newest ones will be at the top of the pile. If you overwrite one, it should bring it to the top of the pile as well. So that makes sense for some people's workflow, but it may not for yours. You may have one that you just use all the time, and you'd want to name it 1- whatever, and that would put it at the top if it was alphabetical, but it's not. It's chronological. Anyways, we see this in action, this newly created one. We could put our buyer in there, and then say,
easy fix for them because they let you can save your files that way.
Yeah, like it should just be in your settings
in the same in Gmail the same way, and you can put a 1.
And Google could totally put it in the same place where they put how to enable it, and I'll show you how to do that. But this could be market update for Prashastin or whatever neighborhood you're updating them for, and then you could copy and paste your link in here. www.google.com. Just Google it. That's that. So those are templates. Hopefully that's been helpful. I think next we're going to move on to Gmail signatures. Okay, so we are going to quickly go over Gmail signatures, and I'm going to show you a particular way to set up your email signature in Gmail. This is something that comes up periodically. Most of you have beautiful email signatures. I have no gripes about the way they're put together or the information you put on there. That's all up to you. But if they have any images in them, I recommend hosting those images. Meaning you don't just drag and drop the image in, you actually host it somewhere. And what I recommend is a service called ImageBB. There's also Imgur. There's a few others, places where you can host images. This is free, and I just, upload an image up here, and you can get a direct URL for it. Oh. And then what you do is when you go to, like if I'm to remove this one, and I'll tell you why in a second here. You would use your web address here, and I need to copy and paste it, but I've got hosted email signatures. So when you go to add a photo to wherever you want it in your email signature, go to web address URL, paste that URL in there. Now, if you've got the wrong web address, it'll tell you, but it should look something like this. It should have some shortened version of whatever hosting site you're using, whether it's ImageBB or Imgur or some other service.
Image?
Yeah, imagebb.com is what I would recommend for image hosting. And it should be whatever you named yours. I just named this number 3 because it was the third one in the folder. But it's 3.png. So it should end in .png or .jpeg, one of those. And you'll select it. And what it'll do is it'll put it in there with the default dimensions. Boy, that needs to be fixed. I usually change it to something like small or medium so that it fits in with the block text up above. If it's huge and takes up a bunch of space, it can break the formatting in the email where you have to scroll to the side to see things.
I get some
that are like that.
Their pictures probably that size.
Yeah,
screen.
just
Well,
yeah.
And some that have like 5 images.
Yeah.
If you look at it, you go to click on them and they're all part of their signature. Like,
Yeah. So I tend to make images a little larger than they need to be, just for so they're not grainy and pixelated. And then you can always adjust down in whatever service you're using. The same goes for Northwest MLS or anywhere where you're setting up an email signature. You can usually format it to be whatever you need it to be. Here, I use medium because it fits in well. You'll see with small, it's just a little too tiny. It's kind of hard. I mean, you can make out the Keller Williams, but I don't know. I like people to see. Yeah, I like people to see that I have a beard and it's not just, a messy face. So there's that. But that's how you set up. And the reason here, let's get to the reason why. We've got about 1 minute and 40 seconds left on the video. The reason why you do it this way is, as agents, we send attachments all the time. Different addenda that are either mutual or need to be signed to agents and to clients, settlement statements, earnest money receipt, all of it. Like, we send a bunch of attachments all day long. If you just drag and drop your image into your email signature, there's a good chance, depending on who's receiving it and how their email works, that it will show up as an attachment. Mm-hmm. And that can be confusing for people who are waiting on an attachment from you or just expecting agents to send attachments. Now, it's a 10-second distraction, right? They click on the attachment and they're like, oh, it's just their email signature. But hosting it this way keeps it from showing up as an attachment. So it's a little bit of extra work up front, but this is a set it and forget it type of thing. Unless your image hosting, which ImageBB has been around for 20 years. But I mean, the only thing that would, if your image hosting website went down, that's the only way in which this wouldn't work. But Gmail should keep an archived copy of it anyways. So there's really no downside to doing it this way. And the upside is that you're not going to be confusing anybody with attachments. So that's the reason why you would do that. Now, if you're changing your email signature, always remember to scroll down at the bottom and hit Save Changes. If you don't, it won't take. So there's that. And the main reason I want to record this one is to just have the discussion. Are you guys aware of the Snooze feature in Gmail? Has anybody used it? Raise your hand if you've used Snooze before. Long time ago. I love it because I have a lot of email come in constantly, and they all kind of fall into different categories, right? They're handle it right now sort of things. They're handle it later today sort of things, or they're I'm waiting on answers. I can't really get back to this person. So I will often email them and say, I'm waiting on this information from this person, send it. And then what I can do is hit snooze, and you've got several options here. Later today, I've got that set to 3 p.m., right? So it's something that I feel like I would have the bandwidth to take care of later in the day when we've dealt with the big stuff, we've had the meetings, and this is sort of more deep work time, right? So if it's something that needs to happen today, but I can't handle it right now, this gets it out of my inbox. Same with this. If I know I can take care of this tomorrow, first thing, but it's nothing I can deal with now. If I'm towards the end of the day and I'm just like wanting to go home, but I want to make sure I don't lose track of this, right? Then it's tomorrow. This, I don't know if you saw this, but the local association of realtors had to cancel their golf tournament. I don't think they had enough golfers. They don't say why in the email, but I think that they were missing about 3 golfers, and they put out a call for them yesterday, and they didn't get them. So They canceled the event. But if I wanted to reach out to Rosalind tomorrow, I didn't want to lose track of this. And I was like, hey, I signed up for that golf tournament. Like, what's going on? Is there any way we can salvage this? But I know I can't deal with it today. I'd put it for tomorrow. If it's something I want to deal with this weekend, there's that.
So does it show
Next
back up
week.
as a new one?
Yes.
Like
It comes
new
back to the
thing,
top of your
it just
inbox.
refreshes it?
Yes. And that is a wonderful feature for me.
Like, why have I not been using
Yes.
it? Like, use
So
this.
I highly recommend Snooze. What it does is it gets it out of sight, out of mind, so you can focus on the things you have to do now. But it keeps you from forgetting to take care of this important thing later.
Right. Well, I've been like going in my calendar reminder, and I was like, that's just a simple step that I can.
Yeah.
save time.
And you can change, yeah. You can change these defaults too. So they don't have to be 3 p.m. or 10 a.m. or what. I have this currently set to where I start my shift here at the Market Center. But you can change this to whatever you want. And the changing it is weird. And I'll see if I can get this done in the time I have in the video. You'll want to go keep google.com. I don't know why they keep this setting in a separate app because it's so important to Gmail. But you go to your settings and keep.google.com. This is where your Google Notes will be living. Your reminder defaults. For whatever reason, this is in here, not in Gmail. I don't know why, but if you wanted to change your morning to 8 a.m. or 7 a.m., that's when you start cracking open emails, and that's when you want to deal with things first thing in the morning. You can change that to whatever time you want.
You said the notes are in there too.
The notes are in here too, yeah. But keep.google.com is where you're going to change that setting for your snooze button, which is, again, why they keep it here is beyond me. But let's say you have later mornings. Let's say you start, you're doing a specific thing. You've got time blocking from 9 to 11, right? Say that's like lead generation. You don't really get to emails until 11 a.m. You can set that morning to 11 a.m. Let's say your lunches are quite a bit later in the day. Let's say that's 2 p.m. Your evenings, you could be a late worker. If you're a night owl or whatever, you want to put evening at 7 p.m. If you're still doing the email at 7 p.m., let's go wine tasting or something, guys. Like, let's. Anyway, whatever you want your schedule to be, you can set this up however you want it. I've got it at 10, noon, and 3. So that's changing that setting, but that's pretty much the snooze button. So if I set this to, I want to deal with this weekend. If you ever want to see what you've got snoozed, just go to this tab over here below inbox and starred. You've got snoozed. You've got you can look at it at any time. That's what I want to say about this and archive, which is the next feature we'll be talking about. When you do these things, it can be a little bit scary because it takes it out of your inbox. And you're like, oh no, I don't want to forget about it.
The other day, and I was like,
Now, archive is different. Archive is different than delete, and it's really important. We'll go over that next. So I'll go ahead and stop this video here. And we're back. We're going over the Gmail archive. Now, this one can require a bit of a mindset shift. I think a lot of us are used to the days when if you got something out of your inbox, it usually meant that you deleted it. Right? If you truly wanted something out of sight, out of mind, you would delete it. Gmail has 2 different options for you. If you truly want to delete something, like if I don't need to build a sign right now, I can delete this if I need to, delete this message. But it's not a quick and easy button, and there's a reason. If you want to get something out of your inbox, out of sight, out of mind, you want to get to 0 inbox truly, where you're looking at only the new messages that come in, you hit this archive button here, it's out of your inbox. If you are like, oh no, or it comes up in conversation later, remember that email from Build a Sign? All you got to do is type Build a Sign in here. And it should show up in chronological order when you received them. And there it is. There's that message that I archived. So this can be extremely helpful. This, for me, has helped me keep my sanity when it comes to checking my emails and my inboxes. You'll notice I have 29 emails in here, not 29,000. Yeah.
No, like 3,000.
Yeah. And I would highly recommend just carving out some time. It doesn't have to be right away. Maybe this can be something in, January when you're contemplating life in the bleak midwinter. But yes, no showings, or showings at that one listing that didn't get scooped up in the fall rush. But I would recommend going through your emails and just seeing if you missed anything. But if it's not something that you still need to deal with right now, or it's something if it's something you need to deal with later, snooze it or set yourself a reminder, and then archive it. Get it out of sight, out of mind. You'll deal with it when you set a reminder for yourself, or if you. I guess it's a lot like decluttering, right? This is like Marie Kondo. It's sparking joy. But no, I don't know that any emails really spark joy. Maybe in the moment when they come in, if you find out you're mutual on a property, that sparks joy. But even then, get that contract over to escrow, do all the things you need to do with that contract, and then archive it. And you can always come back to it later. And you also always have it in transaction desk. So there's backups after backups after backups. But if I move my face here a little bit.
So do you do anything with your labels?
So I don't. I've found if that's a system that you started to implement, that can help people. Kara does. Kara does labels all day long. And I think that can be a very helpful tool for a lot of people. For me, my workflow definitely falls into buckets of deal with it now, deal with it soon, or deal with it later, or it's an FYI or it's junk, right? So some emails that come in are just for my information. It's like, thank you. Sometimes most of the time I'll acknowledge receipt unless it's somebody that's like 2 doors down from me that I can be like, got it. But other than that, those ones are all archived. The ones that need to be dealt with later, but I can't deal with right now, oftentimes I will snooze them. And then the ones that I need to deal with right now, I deal with right now.
I learned this from a realtor in Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and I did his books for him, and it was just, he set up a label for each client
Mm-hmm.
by their name, and everything he did for them under that got put there.
Yeah.
And it has served me so well.
And I think that's wise. If I were more in production and writing contracts and showing homes, I believe I would do that. Is set up a label
And then
for
I put
each
like
client.
a 1 if I'm working with them right now.
Yep.
And I do the ABC kind of thing, the 1, 2, 3, and then under each one of those you can set up files, sub-files,
Yep.
like mutual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's been.
And I would maybe once a year or so, I would do some label maintenance and go through and only have the labels that are your clients for the last 12 months, because after 3 years of production, I mean, you're going to end up, if you do, 12 to 20 sides a year or whatever, you're going to end up with 40, 50 tags or labels sitting there in that left-hand side. So yeah, do some label maintenance there, but I think that's smart for people that are regularly working with a whole host of clients. Between that and the tags in command, you should be able to stay organized. But yeah, I highly recommend archiving things that don't actually require any action from you, because you can always look them up later.